concepts of creativity and design knowledge are both complex and multifaceted in terms of origin. Every person's experiences, circumstances, and goals form their own conclusions, and this affects what we know as designers, as well as our originality. This is greatly influenced by our exposure to outwardly stimuli, such as subliminal suggestions from other sources of creativity, sudden moments of inspirations, or, as we look to the future, aid from sources such as artificial intelligence. We are also driven by our inwardly tendencies, such as intuition, inspirations, and information we obtain from study and life. All of these factors, as well as human experience, come together to create the designer, with all the perceptions and input that focus on how we strive to achieve the wants and needs towards a successful solution, and what differentiates us from other design disciplines as the problem solvers and puzzle makers of our communities.
Creativity is an innate condition of the human being. We are all born with it, but we develop it more or less depending on many factors throughout life. Not only professionally, but also personally speaking. Our perspective on the problems and scenarios that life leads us gives us the possibility to apply our most creative side to develop solutions. As social human beings, it is inevitable that society and the environment in which we live directly affect it, in terms of culture, age, education, technology, purchasing power, and many others. At the same time, it is very important to consider the development of emotional intelligence, which is directly and inevitably related. This set of skills that a person also acquires by birth or learns during his or her life, where empathy, self-motivation, self-control, enthusiasm, and emotion management stand out. When the set of these conditions and characteristics is balanced, is when we get the great epiphanies or aha moments, where we feel that by magic the answer overflows. But it's actually our hard internal work of gathering information and processing that lead us to the right path. And it is passion that keeps us on our toes to continue, even if sometimes the journey becomes long or difficult.
When thinking of design styles, the design stage phase requires specific ingredients and steps to be followed in a particular order. Design also requires a series of stages categorized by dominant types of activity. The process of designing is like a cycle that goes from a general idea to a specific plan. Just as there are specific, proper, or ideal starting points in every design process, there are also specific ingredients and steps that must be followed to ensure its success. These steps allow for various models of design strategies for the designer to implement in their design process. Through the designer's internal resources, different skills, and according to the needs of the specific design context, they can choose to adapt their own models of design. The design thinking styles highlight the importance of adaptability and flexibility in the design process, as well as the need for a multidisciplinary approach when designing.
As we look to the future of design and the designer, do we truly believe that AI will replace us? There are many theories surrounding this event, and while we cannot tell the future, what we can do is be optimistic and handle technology wisely. While AI has its advantages, there are also shortcomings, which we as designers can achieve based on the way we frame problems, the iterative processes we use, our sense-making abilities only made possible by human understanding, as well as the happy coincidences and empathy present by our imperfect nature. Realistically, AI is becoming a big force to reckon with, as it makes processes faster and more accurate. But we believe that in working with this technology, designers will continue to not only be needed, but valued for their expertise and legality.
Taking a look at design as a whole, we can see how our creativity, what we know, and our thinking styles affect our process. Even between three people, you can share similar aspects, but have a completely different model or a way of approaching a problem. It is important to know that your process as to understand that there are other perspectives besides your own that may help explore the parts of your project that are less developed. It is also important to note that design thinking is not conclusive, and there is no right or wrong way to do it as long as it works for the individual.